Thanks for joining us for the morning call here on Africanews. I am Amelia Martha Nakitimbo. Now, the idea of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area has generally been celebrated by both Africans and non-Africans alike. But one of the concerns that has been raised a number of times is the question of inequality. On July 1st, 2020, when the agreement comes into force, whether or not big companies or big economies will trump over smaller ones. So I put the question to Ghanaian lawyer Moses Atiiga. He's also a researcher on matters of trade and investment. Listening.
When we are talking of an agreement, it is something that member states have agreed that I agree entirely with what is contained here, and therefore I would want to be part of it. Remember, being a member is not by force, it's voluntarily. And so obviously your team of experts would have gone through this and to agree that, well, that we really have nothing, no objection to any of the provisions. You remember, before this agreement came into force, or into being, let me put it that, Nigeria and South Africa initially did not join. Do you know why? They were going to look at the pros and cons of these agreements. And remember, like I keep saying, the agreement is not restrictive. And so, apart from few exceptions that are often allowed in trade regulations, there is going to be movement of goods and services, plant, products, animals, and that goes with it certain consequences. Spreading of diseases, insects, human, animal, plants, And so they needed to take their time to look at this and see whether on their own they can put in place measures that will enable them to benefit from it. And that explains why they delayed.
Well, Moses, yes, the agreement deems all states equal, but really, can, for example, Africa's youngest country, South Sudan, which has also faced some troubles, expect to trade at the same level as Africa's most economically advanced country, South Africa?
You may just have a South African company coming into South Sudan, setting up and manufacturing without even employing a South Sudanese. So in that case, who would you blame? You will blame the big power? I don't think so. So the law provides a level playing field for all of us. I entreat all African governments to take advantage of this treaty by planning.
And Nigeria continues to give framers of this agreement and fellow African states homework on what the implementation will look like. Now, Reuters reports that Nigeria is now facing the highest inflation in 17 months due to increasing food prices. The food price inflation is attributed to a 4-month partial land border closure enforced to curb smuggling of rice and other goods. So this is what free trade looks like in a capitalistic market. Take a look.
Because of demand is higher than supply. That is why the price is going up. And again, about the road also is not good for the truck that bringing the rice to us. At times, some truck will be spent almost like 2 or 3 weeks on the road before they brought the rice.
Everything now has added a penny or naira or 1,000 upward. Everything in the market, not one thing. Even salt, the littlest and the commonest commodity, has increased price and is very, very bad. We are going to a place where people will be forced to do what they ought not to do because they have to sustain their living.
And on that note, here's how one resident is adjusting in order to sustain her living.
I came to buy rice in the market. Usually, I used to buy it for 2,800. That's the small bag, the 10 kg. I buy it for 2,800, 3,000 naira. And it's so unfortunate that I came to the market today and it's quite high. So based on my budget, what I came to the market with, I couldn't afford it. So I had to buy in small quantity.
So I pick at least 3 things from these sound bites. 1, the need to improve transport infrastructure in order to facilitate the movement of goods and people. 2, Nigeria and Benin are currently tightening border controls in order to curb smuggling of rice. But what about the black market for other goods? And 3, the question of price control. Will there be any between countries? Join the conversation. You can share your thoughts via Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube on Africanews and Africanews FR for French. Thanks for watching and see you next time.